His father gives him some money when he comes of age. So he comes to America from France to see what's going on. He doesn't learn to speak English perfectly, but almost. What's going on is music. Music is the most important thing in America, waiting for the world to settle down after the big war. With his confidence in himself and in his English, the way it charms people. He meets people who are famous for being hard to meet. Without being a musician, he has many adventures in music, gets to know lots of people. Finally, he has to go back home to start making a real life. He is still interested in music. It is the only thing he knows about so far. So he decides to arrange performances of music in France using what he learned in America. He is lucky in his decision, as usual. Many of the people he met in America have decided to leave to see if things can be better someplace else. Some of them come to France. They're almost the same in France, if not quite. Mostly they're the same in having to make music to get some money. So he begins to arrange for them to make music for the audience they need for their reasons, and he needs for his. A natural course of events. It's not an easy job, even for someone with confidence. Arranging for a lot of people to do anything is hard enough. And the musicians are of two minds. They like to make music, but they're sad. And sadness and music don't go together very well. As part of his experience in this work, he arranges for a concert in the south of France for two musicians he knows from America. They both play the piano, and they are both exceptionally sad. They are famous for their sadness and for playing the piano. Many people think they are the two best piano players of their music in the world. He has to make them share a performance because he can't arrange for either one to do it alone and make money. This is the kind of thing that makes musicians sad. The three of them meet at the railroad station on the day of the performance. It will be a long day, a long ride, and then some silliness about a lot of people doing something all at the same time. In this case, listening. It is a lot to go through, he thinks, just to hear some music. This is beginning to undermine his confidence. Also hard on his confidence is the fact that the two musicians have come dressed in the same fashion. Black suit with black shirt, black tie, black shoes, black overcoat, black hat, and black glasses. And that they both acknowledge him in a way, and acknowledge each other, maybe, but they don't speak. They don't speak to him, and they don't speak to each other. They take the two seats near each other, opposite each other, and near the window, and they look straight ahead without speaking. Nobody else joins them in the compartment, with good reason. He has two problems to begin with. Which side to sit on, and what to do. This promises to be a trying ride. And at the end of the ride, he will have two problems. What to do until the music begins, and how to decide which piano player should play first. I have arranged the concert in the middle of
2,
France.
3,
We are on the train going from the Caire to there.
4, 5, 6,
Going backward or going forward, I forget.
7, 8, 9, 1,
The pressure is enormous.
2, 3,
And I forget.
4, 5,
They do not speak to each other.
6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
Facing each other, they sit near the window, not looking out, not looking in, not looking up, not looking down, not with the eyes closed,
5,
looking straight ahead.
6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
Both of them with their eyes open, looking straight ahead.
3, 4,
They wear the black glasses.
5, 6,
They pull the hat down over the eyes.
7, 8, 9, 1,
They looking straight ahead with their eyes open, the black glasses and the hat pulled down over the black glasses and over the eyes.
4, 5,
They do not speak.
6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
I have the tickets on the train going from
2,
Caire to there.
3, 4,
I have bought 3 seats
5,
and we are
6,
in the seats.
7, 8,
And I have forget where we are going.
1,
In this little room, the pressure is enormous.
2, 3,
They are looking straight ahead.
4, 5,
They're looking at each other through the black glasses, at the black glasses of each other.
7, 8,
Or they're looking at the middle.
9, 1,
There's enormous sensation and pressure in my mind.
3, 4,
They have divided this little room exactement.
6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
Plane of the division runs through the exact middle, from the middle of the little door, through the middle of the window, and out infinitely beyond on either side, I think.
4,
Like an enormous blade scraping across the middle of France, and sometimes 50 kilometers for each hour, scraping in front of itself the intangible debris of generations of misunderstanding.
One.
The blades scrape.
2, 3,
I have not passed my time this way
Four.
before.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
I have the feeling of a mistake.
2,
Scraping the blade across the middle of France
4,
at sometimes 50 kilometers for each
5,
hour.
6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
Scraping in front of itself the intangible debris of generations of misunderstanding.
3,
Deafens my ears to everything except the beating of my heart.
5, 6,
Blade is held erect exactement between the planes of the black glasses.
8, 9, 1,
And between the lines or arcs of intersection
2,
of the planes of the black glasses and
Three.
the planes of the hats pulled down.
4, 5,
The plane is held erect by the enormous
Six.
pressure in this little room.
7, 8, 9, 1,
I think that I am too young to understand that
2,
the concert has begun.
3, 4,
I have the feeling of a mistake.
5, 6,
I forget about the plane of the between them.
8, 9, 1,
I have forget about the people of the concert.
2, 3,
I just think about the music of the concert.
4,
And I have forget about the people.
5, 6,
Oh dear.
7, 8, 9, 1,
In the before time, I think they held the plane between them. In there other people that came before, in the manner of a knife to cut the water and the mountains of the ocean floor, from east to west.
6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
I have forget about adventure.
2, 3,
I have forget about the stories of the music that I hear.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
I am with too much excitement about the
2,
mysteries of the music that I hear.
3, 4,
I am with too much excitement about the
5,
music of the stories.
6, 7,
I have forget about the stories of the music.
8, 9,
I have forget about the knife that cut the waters of the oceans and the mountains of the ocean floor, and all of the fish, and all of the things of the ocean floor, held direct, exactement between the hundreds pairs of eyes.
8, 9, 1,
Then I think, without the black glasses, but
2,
eyes black of themselves in blackness,
4,
hard in the misunderstanding and the adventure.
6,
I have the feeling of a mistake.
7, 8, 9, 1,
This concert that I have made in the middle of
2,
France, with him and him, first one and then the other playing.
4, 5,
If I allow myself to use an idea that cannot be thought in France,
7, 8, 9, 1,
that first one and then the other playing is in the mind, mon Dieu. One upon the other or one below the other is again the possibility, as we say,
5,
of the plane.
6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
But this time not as in the after times, in there other people that come again when the plane is not held between them, but above them, them holding it in common up. As they have heard, holding it hundreds of years or thousands of years, but then held carving the curve of space, this time carving the curvature of earth, and all of what is there.
8, 9, 1,
I think that this possibility, as we say, is dangerous, somewhere over the heads of the audience, and I will be there also.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
Sometimes there are two things in the mind,
3,
brings to mind time is time.
4,
That's a good one. A thing is time.
5,
Sometimes there are two times in the mind.
6, 7,
In France we speak of before
8,
and after. In some other places it is different maybe. I speak of, for example, this concert that I've made in the middle of France with
3,
two parts, the above and the below,
4,
that I think is the mistake I have the feeling
5,
of.
6, 7, 8, 9, 1,
And I speak of the blade that is held erect exactement between them, scraping across the middle of France, and sometimes 50 kilometers for each hour, scraping in front of itself the intangible debris of generations of misunderstanding. And that is one thing in the mind, two parts of one thing in the mind, or time in the mind.
9.
At the same time in the mind, I have the idea of the story to be made public now at this time, of the discovery that I am not inadequate at all.
5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 1.
That I am of myself to be reduplicated again and again, with the change that was the
3.
desire of the feeling of my inadequacy.
5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 1.
Finally, under the pressure of scraping the blade across the middle of France, scraping in front of itself the middle of France at sometimes 50 kilometers for each hour, scraping in front of itself the intangible debris of generations of misunderstanding.
7. 8. 9. 1.
And under the pressure that the blade is held erect exactement between the planes of the black glasses, I have to discover that I am not inadequate at all, that I'm of myself to be reduplicated again and again with the change that was the desire of the feeling
7.
of my inadequacy.
8. 9. 1.
That was something. I am not inadequate at all.
3.
My rededication, to use a word we seldom use in France, is part of the story.
5.
Mon Dieu.
6.
This is the story of the music.
7.
This is the story that I have forget about.
9. 1.
This is the adventure.
2. 3.
And now the blade is held erect exactement between them, scraping.
5. 6.
In the before times it was held erect exactement between them, cutting the waters of the ocean.
9. 1.
Then it is held above them in their history of earth and sleeping, carrying the curve, carving the curve of the outside space into the sun.
5.
And I am not inadequate at all.
7.
Mon Dieu.
8. 9. 1.
This is something to celebrate, I think.
2. 3.
A great feeling of relief comes over me.
4. 5.
There is still the feeling of a mistake,
6.
to be sure.
7. 8.
We are only in the middle of France, to be sure.
9. 1.
And there is still the concert, to be sure.
2. 3.
There's the dangerousness genius of the blade, carving the curvature of earth over the heads of the audience, and I will be there also.
6, 7,
Mon Dieu.
9,
But I am not inadequate at all.
1,
Think about me with yourself that I am not inadequate at all. And you will lift your arms and say out loudly to the world, I am not inadequate at all.
5, 6,
What was that?
7, 8,
The blade moved for an instant from its scraping.
1,
For an instant there was a silence of the scraping of the blade across the middle of France, at sometimes 50 kilometers for
4,
each hour, scraping in front of itself the intangible debris of generations of
6,
misunderstanding.
7, 8, 9, 1,
And in that silence my ears hear, such as they do in the black oldness of the way of speaking of these two men, which is unusual to the way of speaking that we use in France, crisp and drumming of not too long ago as speeches
6,
measured. Good to see you, man.
7,
That is what I hear in the silence of the
8,
scraping. Mon Dieu.
9,
There will now be a brief intermission, and we'll come back with two wonderful pieces that are not